Hello, my name's David Travis, and in this episode of the UX Tea Break, I look at what you can do if you're a user researcher during a pandemic. So this question comes from Angelette, and Angelette asked me this question through the messaging system in my Udemy course. And she said, it appears the spread of the coronavirus is inevitable. I'm wondering if you have any suggestions on how to do user research during this pandemic, especially when one must be in close proximity to ask questions. So I think this is a worrying time for everyone, but if you have got user research that you need to do at this particular period, what can you do? Well, there are alternatives to getting close with your participant. Now, you'll be aware, if you've seen any of my previous videos, that one of the things I recommend is to get face-to-face with users, because then you can see their behaviour. But you may not be able to do that during this period for obvious reasons. Well, there are remote tools that you can use instead. Any kind of video conferencing software will probably allow you to share the participant's screen, so the participant could actually carry out usability test tasks for you. So you could still run usability tests even though you may not be able to get face-to-face with your participant. Another neat way to do those and see real-world behaviour is to have an intercept on your website, which could pop up when a customer visits the website that they're using, and this pop-up can say, do you want to take part in research? And if they say yes, they can be directed in real time to your video conferencing system, and then you can get them to actually do the task that they were going to do, but now while you observe instead. So you're observing real-world behaviour as they do it. Certainly you're looking at the way they achieve an actual goal. Another approach you can use, which supports remote user research, is to run remote interviews. You could either do those on the telephone, or once again, you could use conferencing software, and then your team could listen in and they could ask you the questions that they want you to ask the participant. They could do that through a Slack channel or through Google Docs. But that way you can then interview the participant and you can get some idea of their background and the goals and their needs that they're trying to achieve. Now, as well as user research, there are other things you can also do during this period. Let's say that you need to work from home while this is going on. Well, what could you do during that phase? Well, one thing that you could do as well as user research is you could do desk research. You could look to see what work has gone on in the past that's related to the thing that you're researching. Perhaps some academics have published some papers. Now's a good time to have a look at those papers online and see what they say, see what insights you can get from them. Maybe your company's sponsored research in the past. Now will be a good time to review the quality of it. If you're interested in desk research, I've got a video that I'll link to above that'll give you some more insight into how to do that. The one final approach that you can take as well, if it's a period where you're working from home, is you can start looking at developing your own skills. So, for example, maybe there's a piece of software that you've wanted to learn for some time. Well, why don't you download a trial copy of that software and start learning how to do it? Look at the videos on the vendor's website, see what's on YouTube, and develop some expertise in doing that. Another thing that you could look at is building or improving your CV or your portfolio. Maybe there are case studies of work that you've not written up in the past. Now would be a good time to do those, and maybe put together a compelling portfolio to describe the kind of work you've done in the past. If you're new to portfolios and you wanted to see a portfolio review, I've done one of those. Why don't you take a look at that? I'll link to the video above. And finally, of course, if you wanted to do some training in user experience and you're not able to go to a face-to-face course, well, you could do online training, and you won't be surprised to know I've got some courses, one of which I'll link to below, that you could always take during this period. So I hope you found that useful. Keep safe, and I hope to see you in a future video.